Love is a verb of justice. While I was in college, I worked several summers at Pilgrim Center, a UCC summer camp and retreat center in Wisconsin, which is where Ashley and I had met. I remember while being on staff there at that summer camp, learning a children's song called Wherever Love Is, written by Brian Sergio, a singer and songwriter who performed concerts for our young campers each week. In fact, Brian Sergio's songs can be found in our Sing, Prayer, and Praise book. Brian always made sure to tell his story about the song Wherever Love Is. When my daughter Emma was about 3 years old, she asked me, "Daddy, where is God?" And at first I told her that God is everywhere, but I could tell that didn't help much. I then remembered the verse from 1 John 4 that tells us that God is love. So I told Emma that since the Bible says that God is love, then God is wherever love is. A few minutes later, she then exclaimed in her ridiculously cute 3-year-old voice, "Daddy, God's in me." And when I said, "Well, you're right, how do you know?" she replied, "Because I love you, Dad." And this story has always touched me to the core and helped me to understand that God's love for children is profound. And a child's understanding of God is never to be underestimated. The song that I learned at camp from Brian all those years ago is now the same song that I sing to my daughter Ainsley, to remind her and to remind me of the promise of God's love. Wherever love is, God is there too. God is in me, 'cause I love you. Wherever love is, God is there too. God is wherever love is. You want to try that with me? Wherever love is, God is there too. God is in me, 'cause I love you. Wherever love is, God is there too. God is wherever love is. One more time. Wherever love is, God is there too. God is in me, 'cause I love you. Wherever love is, God is there too. God is wherever love is. I believe that I have a part of the divine within me. For if God is love, and love exists within my heart, then God is a part of who I am. And the author of the letters of John writes, "Whoever does not love does not know God." It is dangerous for us to maybe just leave it at that, however. God is love. Is that all that we might say about God? All that we may experience or think about God? I think it depends on what we mean when we talk about love. What does love mean to you? The Apostle Paul, an early convert to Christianity in the 1st century, who took up the cause of spreading God's love beyond those early Jewish Christian communities that had embraced Jesus' teachings, he believed that love was not just a feeling or a sentiment. The love is a commitment. Think about that. For Paul, love works, hope endures, faith saves. None of these things for Paul are feelings, rather they are actual acts that take place. Love is more than just that emotion we feel when we see something beautiful, when we know someone intimately, when we know something good in this life. Love is not a noun. Love is a verb. It is a commitment. So now we find ourselves faced with a new question. If love is a verb, what is it telling us to do? I think if you sat down with someone that you love, you'd come up with a pretty good list of all the things that you commit to when you love that person. For Paul, love was a commitment to justice. Love is justice. In today's scripture from the Gospel of Matthew, we hear directly from Jesus himself what he believes love and justice are all about. Jesus didn't just talk about love. He did acts of justice. And he relays this in the disciples' message to John the Baptist, who finds himself in prison. He says, "The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor have good news brought to them. And blessed is anyone who does not offend at me." My seminary professor described Paul as a self-help author of the first century. And like most modern self-help authors who write these books, Paul wants us not to just feel good about ourselves, but wants us to do something about it. But unlike our modern self-help authors and other sages and gurus at Paul's time in the world in the first century, Paul was not concerned with the money-making business, but he was in need of an opportunity to tell us about the messianic way of life, not just the messianic feels that we get. He is passionate about telling us about God's love in Jesus and what this Jesus does for us, rather than telling us how Jesus should make us feel. When we talk about justice, it is often paired with the law. Justice of the peace, law and order, justified by the law. Justice and the law, however, are separate for the early Christian church. For Paul, justice had more to do with grace. Grace as in hospitality, as in being kind to one another. When we read deeply into Paul's letters, we see his passion for grace as the quality of faithfulness and what really mattered, rather than following the law of the church. If the law were sufficient, Paul would argue, we would have failed at being God's beloved long ago. Instead, grace, amazing grace, is what allows for the blind to receive their sight, for the lame to walk, the lepers to be cleansed, the deaf to hear. Grace raises the dead, not the law. Grace gives good news to the poor, not the law. And Jesus punctuates this by blessing those who are not offended by his grace. What a powerful message to hear this morning as we prepare ourselves for Christ's birth during this journey through Advent. When we realize that God has been born in a baby in Bethlehem, I hope we will do more than feel something warm and fuzzy. I hope we will do more than feel something emotional like joy and amazement. I hope for justice. Justice that is born out of the love of God made into our image. Justice that feels like hospitality. Justice that feels like saying hello to someone who needs that this morning. Justice for the oppressed. Food for the hungry. God's help and hope that will lift up those who are bowed down. When we realize that God's love has been born in a child, we will then know love as a verb, not as a noun. It is something real. In the words of Brian Sergio's daughter, Emma, God's in me because I love you. God's grace is in me because I love you. God's justice is in me because I love you. For wherever love is, God is there too. God is in me because I love you. Wherever God is, love, justice, and grace are there too. Amen.